Hello and welcome to episode 10 of When We Are Healed. How are you feeling? Have you been feeling some intense energy lately? I certainly have, not just in my personal life, but also in the collective. I feel like we're on the brink of some incredible shift. A wave of big changes coming, or rather, it's already here and we're already feeling it. And on top of that, a lot of emotions can come up during this time of the year around the holidays for many of us, right? Depression, sadness, grief, loneliness, challenges around family or work relationships, anxiety, overwhelm, stress, a sense of lack around money, time, and or energy, feeling like there's a million things you need to get done before the end of the year. If you've been struggling with any and all of these things, you are certainly not alone, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with you. All of these have come up for me in the past few weeks, for sure. And I think what makes this time of the year extra challenging is that the holidays tend to be the busiest time of the year for many of us. And yet, this is the complete opposite energy of what nature is doing in winter. Winter is a time of slowing down, hibernating, drawing energy inward. The call from Mother Nature right now is to rest, retreat, and become still. So, even though it can be tempting to bypass or suppress all these challenging feelings by preoccupying ourselves with the to-do lists and getting busy, trying to get stuff done, I think it can be so powerful to instead follow nature's lead and really embrace and lean into the energy of winter so that we can prepare ourselves for a rebirth, a transformation, and new creativity when springtime comes. So even as I get triggered during these challenging times, I've been practicing what I always practice, taking pauses throughout the day, putting my hand on my heart, breathing, and just feeling my body. Because as I've been saying in other episodes, whatever emotion arises, it's just energy and it wants to move. And when we allow the negative emotions of guilt, sadness, fear, anger, when we allow that to be felt and moved through, we then can discover that what's underneath all of that, what really wants to move, is joy. And that's who you really are. This was one of the big ahas that I had this year, that joy is our true nature. For the longest time, I felt so disconnected from joy that when teachers would talk about living in joy, I would kind of roll my eyes inside because I really couldn't relate. I would go through my day more unhappy than happy, even with all the spiritual practices I've done. And I would wonder what was wrong with me. But then this year, I had an incredibly powerful, fully embodied experience of total joy and freedom that changed my life forever. And it was during my very first psychedelic-assisted therapy session with psilocybin, also known as magic mushrooms. A little background. Just until a few years ago, I had never imagined I would ever try psychedelics. I grew up in the age of DARE and the quote war against drugs, and it was drilled into me that these quote unquote drugs were dangerous and that I should never give in to peer pressure to take them. But a few years ago, I started meeting more and more people who've had wonderful healing experiences with plant medicine. And I also watched two amazing, beautiful documentaries on Netflix, Fantastic Fungi and How to Change Your Mind. And I learned that if used with the right intention in the right setting, psychedelics can be an incredibly powerful medicine. And I was particularly intrigued by people sharing their transformative experiences with psilocybin. In How to Change Your Mind, there is a man who had really bad OCD, and I think he was on the verge of committing suicide. But just with one psilocybin session, he saw that the symptoms disappeared. His brain was completely rewired. And naturally, I was very curious. And when I found out that my dear friend Afina Zoe became a licensed psilocybin facilitator, I told her I'm all in. Afina is an absolute angel. She's an incredible facilitator and sound healer. And she'll be coming on to the show as a guest in the new year, which I'm very excited about. I can't wait to introduce her to you. And Afina created such a beautiful, sacred ritual around the entire journey, helping me set an intention and connect to the spirit of the mushroom. And my intention going in was, I want to know God. I wanted a direct experience of the divine so that I would never doubt my own divine nature again. I wanted a total transformation. And my journey turned out to be as powerful as my intention was. I won't go into too much detail because the journey is very sacred and personal to me. But over the course of about 5 hours that my journey took place, I moved through first a phase of intense fear and panic, feeling like darkness was taking over and I was on the brink of losing all faith and hope in love and God and the light. And then the next phase was of releasing anger, primal rage, kicking, screaming, punching the pillows, flailing my limbs for what my facilitator later told me was about half an hour. And then when the anger and the rage moved through, what welled up from deep within me was this glorious, exhilarating, hysterical laughter, like belly laughter. I was literally rolling on the bed, laughing nonstop for 2 whole hours. It was so amazing. I felt like my body felt so light and free. My voice felt so free. I felt like my throat chakra was burst open for the first time in my entire life. I was so fascinated by my voice. And for 2 hours, I was just laughing and vocalizing with my voice, like using my voice, making sounds. It's just like, wee! I literally was like a newborn baby, just so fascinated with my body and my voice and life. And the space felt so beautiful and sparkly. And even as I closed my eyes and I still saw these fearful images, even that seemed funny to me now. And in that moment, as I was completely immersed in that energy of total joy and freedom, I knew I was healed. And oh my God, I can't thank Afina, my facilitator, enough for holding space for me throughout the whole journey in such a beautiful and tender and sweet way. I felt completely safe the entire time, thanks to her loving energy. And wow, so after the journey, I felt so peaceful. My mind became so very quiet. And this lasted for about a week afterwards. And it was so much easier to notice the thoughts as they pop up in my mind, but not engage with them. It felt like there was a nice buffer between me and the thoughts. And as I described earlier, if I were to be totally honest, I used to feel more unhappy than happy throughout the day. But the scale has now tipped. It feels much more easier to let go of things as they come up and reconnect with the peace and joy that's inside of me. And I've been noticing the playful side of me, the little girl in me, is expressing herself more. I find myself humming or just skipping during my morning and afternoon walks. I was at the park the other day, and since no one was around, I decided to just climb the jungle gym and go down the slide, and it was so much fun. I think we should have jungle gyms and slides for adults too. Hey, why not? It's such a great full body tactile experience and really great exercise too. What else? My husband and I have been goofing off, making up jingles and dancing silly moves and laughing more. I just feel more joy in my life, in my everyday life. And that is a miracle to me. And my intention is to continue to express and share more and more of this joy in the coming months and years. I am so grateful to Afina and my friend Olivia, who both helped me on this journey. I'm so grateful to Mother Nature and the mushrooms, to Golden Teacher, and to Spirit for guiding me. Oh man, we live in such an exciting time that this incredible healing gift from Mother Nature is becoming more and more accessible to us. And if you're interested in coming to Portland, Oregon, and taking this sacred journey, I highly, highly recommend getting in touch with Afina and booking a discovery call with her. I'll put a link to her website in the show notes. And I wanted to share with you the pearls of wisdom, the insights I wrote down in my journal after my psilocybin journey. 1. I am an innocent child of God. A Course in Miracles was not lying. 2. The darkness, the nightmares, the fears, they aren't real. They can never touch me. 3. There is the most powerful joy in me, and I was repressing it just as much as the anger, guilt, and shame. 4. Joy is my true nature, my true essence. 5. Everything happens by divine grace. 6. I am held, guided, supported, and loved every step of the way. 7. All of my quote-unquote problems, including world events, are not important. They are insignificant, something I can easily laugh about. 8. There is a blessing in everything that is happening. 9. I had to go into the darkness to realize it wasn't what I am. 10. Trust the process. Even when it gets very uncomfortable or scary, everything will pass. I know these messages aren't just for me, it's for you too, especially when things get tough on our journey. Your truest essence is joy, and you can't ever lose it. The negative emotions will pass. The challenging circumstances will pass. But the light that you are, the joy that you are, is eternal. You are a precious, innocent child of God. And I know for myself that it's so much easier to live this truth when someone is there to help you remember. You don't have to go through your healing journey alone. If you would like to reconnect with your truest essence and see yourself in a completely new light, or gain clarity on your purpose and supercharge your intention for the new year, I invite you to book a one-on-one spiritual counseling session with me. You can go to my website at rieko.co, rieko.co, for more information. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you for walking this path with me. I'm sending you so much love and wishing you happy, holy days, Merry Christmas, and may 2025 be your most wondrous, prosperous, joyful year yet. We are blessed, we are guided, and so it is. If you enjoyed this episode, I invite you to come check out our Substack at whenwearehealed.com, where you can subscribe to keep in touch and get show notes emailed to you. Sending you lots of love, and I'll see you in the next episode.